If you've been keeping up with Hulu's The Testaments, you already know that Season 1 left us with a lot to think about. The show continues the Gilead story, but this time we're seeing it through the eyes of the young girls who are being raised under this brutal regime. And trust me, Season 2 is shaping up to be even more intense. Let's break down everything we know so far, and heads up, spoilers are ahead. What is The Testaments about? For anyone who needs a quick refresher, The Testaments follows two main characters. First, there's Agnes Mackenzie, June's long-lost daughter, who is on the cusp of womanhood and navigating some really difficult challenges inside Gilead. Then there's Daisy, a teenager whose parents are murdered, which pushes her to leave her life in Canada behind and enter Gilead as a Mayday spy. Over 10 episodes, the show weaves together this gripping story about these girls and their friends, and by the finale, every single one of them has hit a major turning point. Season 2 release window. Now here's the good news. We don't have to wonder if there's going to be a Season 2, because it was greenlit just 1 week before the Season 1 finale even aired. That early renewal is a great sign. Based on what we know, we can expect Season 2 to arrive sometime in the second half of 2027. Season 1 finale recap, where we left off. So let's talk about where Season 1 leaves things. By the end of the finale, all the main characters have reached a point of no return. Agnes calls off her engagement to Commander Weston. Becca marries Garth while her mother is hanged for her crimes. And when June personally shows up to escort Daisy out of Gilead, Daisy chooses to stay. She's not leaving her friends behind. In her letter to June, Daisy makes her intentions crystal clear. She wants to build an army of teenage girls to bring Gilead down, and the foundation for that plan has already been laid. Agnes also learns two massive things in the finale. One, the identity of her mother, and two, that commanders like Weston wouldn't go anywhere near her if they found out she had been assaulted. That's a huge piece of leverage she now holds. Season 2 plot, what's coming? So what does Season 2 look like? Well, Aunt Lydia is still hopeful about Agnes's future, but Agnes is not going to accept the next arranged situation easily. She knows how to frighten these commanders away, but that's only temporary. She's going to need a permanent, long-term solution. Now, in Margaret Atwood's novel, which the show is based on, Agnes eventually becomes a supplicant, putting her on the path to becoming an aunt herself. Season 2 will likely push the story in that direction. And in the book, Becca joins her on that journey too, which means Becca's marriage to Garth probably won't last long if the show follows that path. But before Becca gets there, she has a lot of emotional trauma to work through, especially the part about losing her mother. Becca and Garth. We'll likely see Becca's domestic situation with Garth play out in Season 2, and it's not going to be easy for him. Not only is he navigating that at home, but he's also working as a Mayday operative, and Daisy is going to make his life very complicated. Daisy's rebellion. Daisy has already stirred up serious trouble in Gilead, but Season 1 was just the beginning. Season 2 is set to be more aggressive and more violent, as Daisy is now completely immersed in her role and nothing is off bounds for her. Aunt Lydia's secret. And here's one of the most fascinating threads going into Season 2. Aunt Lydia is actually a mole herself. We're probably still a long way from seeing her openly work with Daisy to take Gilead down, but the seeds have already been planted, specifically through her secret diary. Season 2 will shed more light on exactly what she's been up to since the events of A Handmaid's Tale's finale. We'll also see more of her complicated and still largely unresolved relationship with Aunt Vidala, because even though the finale addressed some of it, a lot still remains up in the air. Season 2 cast. Now let's talk about who's coming back. The core trio returns. Chase Infinity as Agnes, Lucy Halliday as Daisy, and Ann Dowd as Aunt Lydia. Joining them again will be Matea Conforti as Becca, Rowan Blanchard as Shunammit, Brad Alexander as Garth Chapin, Isolde Artis as Hulda, Amy Seimetz as Paula Mackenzie, and her role is expected to be bigger this season, since Agnes is still unmarried and things between her and her stepmother are about to heat up. On the aunt side, we're getting back Mabel Lee as Aunt Vidala, Zarin Darnell Martin as Aunt Gabbana, and Eva Foote as Aunt Esty. For the commanders, Charlie Carrick returns as Commander Michael Judd, who continues to act as the bridge between the Ants and the Gilead administration. Reed Diamond as Commander Weston and Nate Cordry as Commander Mackenzie are also expected back. Handmaid's Tale crossover and special cameos. And of course, we'll continue to get those exciting crossover appearances from A Handmaid's Tale. Elizabeth Moss as June Osborne and Amanda Brugel as Rita are both expected back, along with more characters who survived the battle in Boston. And fans are going to love this. Author Margaret Atwood herself made a cameo in the Season 1 finale, and people are already hoping to see more of her in Season 2. So that's everything we know about The Testament Season 2 so far. The rebellion is just getting started, the stakes are higher than ever, and honestly, I cannot wait. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more.